The touch of slender fingers frightened Morgan so badly that he leaped off the branch where he had been perched, banged his knee and elbow hard on a lower branch, then half swung, half fell to the ground. Even before he rose, he was scrabbling forward across the forest floor on hands and knees, his pulse drumming in his ears. Only when he was some dozen paces away from the tree did he dare turn and look. The moonlight seeping through the ancient trees did not reveal much of the thing that had touched him, but cast enough silvery light for Morgan to know he had never seen another creature like it. It was smaller than his young sister, which eased his fears some, but it was no animal he could recognize, neither bear cub nor ape. Its startled black eyes were huge, and before the creature turned and vanished into the upper part of the tree, he even caught a glimpse of hands that seemed to have fingers instead of claws. Morgan sat on the damp ground as the moon slid out of sight again behind the trees. He shivered, waiting for his heart to slow, wanting to weep but not daring to make a sound. He had no idea which direction he had come from or how long he had run. "I'm lost," he realized. "Alone in Aldeorta forest. Lost!" It hit him like a blow. He badly wanted a drink of something strong. Morgan woke from a harrowing dark dream of tripping roots and tangling branches, of vines that clutched and dragged him down like vengeful ghosts, to discover that instead of angry phantoms, a bright blue summer sky peeped at him from between the branches overhead, and the warm morning air was full of the scent of green things. He had but a single moment to appreciate the relief, the perfect innocence of the day. Then, as he tried to untangle himself from his cloak, he rolled over and fell out of the tree where he had fallen asleep. He was slowed in his tumble by branches beneath. He was lucky to have climbed only a couple of times his own height. Still, branches scratched and gouged him in several places before he struck the ground. At first he could only lie panting, testing his limbs to see if he had injured himself badly. So much, he thought, for the safety of perching in trees. "Thank our merciful Lord Osiris, I didn't climb any higher." But his next thought was, "What will happen to me? Is anyone searching? Are any of the others I came with even alive?" He remembered the last time he had seen poor old Count Eolair, and his insides clutched in fear and sorrow for the Count and Porto, for Binnabic the Troll and his family. Morgan did his best to push bleak thoughts away. He was a prince, he reminded himself. He could not let fears or unhappiness unman him. And he had not seen any bodies back at the camp except for Erkengards, so it was even possible Snanek and Kina and the rest had survived. But it was hard to believe it. He desperately wanted a drink. A jug of wine would make the aches go away, and the worries too. How had he been such a fool as to leave his flask at the camp when he and Eolair first departed with the cithy? Porto had probably drunk all of Morgan's brandy, if the old knight had lived long enough. Morgan was torn between genuine fear for his comrade and the idea that the last of the brandy might have been wasted on someone who wouldn't live to appreciate it. Now past the first shock of his fall, Morgan climbed unsteadily to his feet and began gathering the things that had tumbled from the branch with him: his sword, water skin, and lastly his dark green cloak, which he had wrapped around himself during a particularly cold stretch in the middle of the night. He sat beneath the beech and laid them all out on the damp ground around him, then untied his purse from his belt and emptied its contents onto the spread cloak. The pouch that held his flint and steel for making fire were the first thing that struck his eye, and he promptly thanked God. But other than his mail shirt and the clothes he wore under it, he did not have much: his sword and his dagger, and the things he had dumped from the purse. He examined the small pile, an unhappily brief inventory: flint and steel, his mother's book of the Aden, a bundle wrapped in leaves that he didn't recognize but prayed was something to eat, the spiked foot irons that Snennek had given him for walking on ice, as useless here in the summer forest as teats on a boar. But there was still a weight in the purse. He reached in to see what it was. Someone, his squire Melkin, or perhaps even Snennek the troll, had coiled up a few fathoms of slender cord and knotted them into a tight bundle at the bottom of the purse. He was unspeakably grateful to whoever had done it. If nothing else, he could use the rope to help make a shelter. Or hang myself, he thought, then said a hasty prayer of apology. Why give God ideas?
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.